Mr. Speaker,
Mrs. Zwiener.
will the gentleman yield for some questions?
Will the gentleman yield for questions?
Yes.
The gentleman yields for questions.
Representative Toth, you just said this amendment had to do with consistency with the Bostock decision. Could you tell me a little bit about that decision?
I left my sheet at my desk. Do you want me to get it?
You're the one who referenced it. Could you tell me how you think this creates consistency?
So it's it's Bostock Clayton, and it dealt with Title VII. And it makes sure that the bill adheres to the state and federal Anti-Discrimination Act of 1964, which is what Bostock spoke into.
Discrimination in regards to which protected groups?
That you don't discriminate against people, period. And the bill already states different. Let me read it to you again. The bill requires that we adhere to Supreme Court rulings, which is Bostock.
So the Bostock decision, if I remember correctly, applies to sexual orientation and gender identity. Is that your recollection as well?
The whole idea, I am not establishing anything new. I am not doing anything new. I'm simply saying that no one gets preferential treatment.
Oh, okay. You said this was for consistency with Bostock. Do you agree with me that the Bostock decision is relevant to sexual identity, sexual orientation
and you can't discriminate
identity?
Against that, correct?
So you would agree that we should not discriminate against sexual orientation and gender identity?
And this bill does not do that.
Okay.
This amendment does not do that.
So your position is that
it simply says that you can't give preferential. What the bill does, it simply says you can't offer preferential treatment based on these things.
So your position is that your amendment is making sure that there cannot be discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity? Okay. Does that apply to athletics at institutions of higher education?
That you shouldn't discriminate against them?
Yes.
Of course.
We should not be discriminating. Discriminate against gender identity
let's
in
keep
athletics
let's
at
keep the
institutions
discussion,
of higher education?
Representative, let's keep the discussion to this amendment.
You told me your purpose of your amendment is to protect from this type of discrimination at institutions of higher education. Isn't that correct?
This is about employment practices. You're deviating into a different area of law.
Oh, the bill's quite a bit broader, I believe.
This portion of the bill, let's look at this portion of the bill again. Do you have a copy in front of you?
I do not, but I've reviewed it.
Would you like to take time to go get one?
I would not.
Okay. Move passage.
Mr. Speaker?
Ms. Johnson.
I raise a point of order on the further consideration of this amendment, and that is not germane to the bill.
Please bring your point of order down front.